it's difficult when you're in an environment that's 90% male,
Mm.
that they have an entirely different thought, some of them, different thought process, different priorities,
Mhm.
and you can be very much cast aside. If you look even at some of the recent statements by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, where she said, isn't it odd that I can have an idea around a table and I'll say it and no one will listen, and then a man will say it and all of a sudden everybody thinks it's a great
Mhm.
idea. And you hear it from somebody like that, who was the Supreme Court justice. How could that happen to her? But it does.
What's the best decision that you ever made in your career?
The best decisions that I ever made about my career were around education.
Mm.
It was around, how do I prepare myself for what I want to do? And you heard me say at the beginning, I went to a Canadian university, and my first love was political science,
Mhm.
because I just thought, oh, this is so interesting. It's a combination of, it's politics, it's history, it's economics, it's the governments on the world stage. I loved international relations, as part of the political studies. They called it political studies where I was. But when I went to look at what was I going to do with that out in the world, it didn't interest me that much. And I loved kids, so I did a second degree in education or special education.
Mhm.
And I went back to school to do that. And then after I'd done that for a year, and I found all the kids' parents were so frustrated with trying to get government funding for their children, I was navigating my way through all these administrative bureaucracies and thought I could help them more
Mhm.
if I were a lawyer. So when I went back to school and went back to law school, against great opposition, I might add, which I can talk about in a minute. But to try to make sure that I was prepared for what it was I wanted to do. Once I got there, I fell in love with the business side and took a bit of a detour. But I found that whenever I wanted to do something different, the key for me was educating myself. And it's still educating myself.
Alpha women go through many challenges, whether you're growing into one or you already are one. There's always a challenge. What's one of your biggest challenges just in life that you've gone through?
It was kind of interesting when we talked before. Trying to pin it down to just one challenge is really hard, because I think that we encounter a whole series of different challenges over the course of our lives. And it's a question more of how we approach these challenges, how we learn from them, how we turn them into something that's good to really create a development situation, a development opportunity for ourselves. I mean, when I was growing up, my mom died when I was a teenager. And you don't realize, you see things happening to children, you see all the things that happen to other people. To be isolated like that and feel like you're the only one that's lost somebody, or that doesn't really have a good path, or that feels unsupported, you can feel like that your whole life. But when you experience it as a teenager, it's a challenge that I still overcome that every day. How do I support myself? How do I do things for myself? It does, in a sense, make you stronger, because nobody's going to help you. But it also is a challenge of then being able to follow your dreams and trust the people around you, because you feel that you're not sure people are really going to help you. And I think if we dig deep into all of our own experiences, we've all had some kind of challenge, or some kind of loss, or some kind of dream that we've really wanted that looks like it's impossible to overcome or impossible to attain, and it's not. And that's also part of the messaging in Pound On. Dream big, and we can do it. You can do it. It's just a question of finding a way to get there, finding your own support system, finding your community, or what I say is, it takes a village to do everything. Find your village and find your people to support you along the way, because you're going to need them.